After her company getaway, my ex requested time apart, so I dumped all her belongings outside, and now she's crying on my doorstep begging to come back. Be me, 28 years old Marcus. Got married to Victoria 3 years ago. Work as investment consultant. Pulled decent money analyzing portfolios for wealthy clients. These rich bastards don't know a mutual fund from a money market account. Victoria is 26, works as marketing coordinator. Spends most days at mid-sized company, telling people they can't expense their daily coffee runs. Pretty standard suburban setup. Nice house in one of those cookie-cutter neighborhoods. Everyone's lawn looks exactly the same. 2 cars, both of us making good money. Spend weekends mountain biking, because I actually enjoy outdoors, not staring at screens 24/7 like everyone else. She likes shopping and endless cocktail brunches. Hangs with her basic girlfriends, the kind who take 50 photos of their avocado toast, before posting the candid one where they're spontaneously laughing. Never had any real problems until about 4 months ago. Things got weird as hell. Our biggest fights before were about me leaving bike gear by front door, or her buying another decorative cushion for couch. Already can't sit on it because of all the other decorative crap. Then she comes bouncing through front door one day, like she just won the lottery. Babe, I'm going to Vegas for Jessica's bachelorette party. Normally I wouldn't give 2 craps about girls' trips. Whatever, girls' trips happen. Jessica's been engaged for like 4 years. Finally pulled trigger on actually planning wedding. But something about how Victoria said it was different. Like she didn't just get invited to party. She got told winning numbers for next week's lottery. Way too excited for what should have been casual news. Oh cool, Jessica's getting married. Guess I'll spend weekend dealing with drunk bridesmaids. Sitting there eating granola, thinking about trip cost. Notice she's practically vibrating with excitement. This same woman complains about going to family reunions because it's so much work to be social. Now acting like she got invited to party with celebrities. That's cool, babe. When is it? 4 weeks. Need to go shopping for outfits. Get my hair done and maybe get spray tan. Mental shopping list starts immediately. Can already see dollar signs flying out of joint account. Whatever, marriage is about compromise. If this trip makes her happy, celebrating Jessica, finally locking it down with that human calculator she's dating, then fine. Within a week, our front porch looks like FedEx distribution center. Packages showing up daily with designer dresses. Never seen her wear brands from Nordstrom boxes. Stuff from brands I couldn't even pronounce. Kind of stuff that costs more than my motorcycle payment. Definitely isn't for impressing Jessica's drunk bridesmaids. Looking at our credit card statement online. Doing usual monthly budget check. Seeing charges for stuff that doesn't make sense. For girls' trip, like since when does Victoria need 350 dress? For bachelorette party, she usually shops at Target. Complains when jeans cost more than 40 bucks. So I asked her, what's this charge for $160 at jewelry store? Oh, just some earrings for trip. I want to look nice. $160 earrings for bachelorette party. It's special occasion. Don't be cheap. That stung a little. I'm not cheap, I'm practical. There's difference between being financially responsible and being tightwad. Set my laptop down and looked right at her. Then don't use our card. You want to treat yourself fine. But from this point forward, it comes out of your account, not mine. You don't get to throw around cheap when you're spending money that isn't just yours. She tried to brush it off with that usual smirk. But I wasn't in mood for cute. Didn't marry into finance leak disguised as celebration prep. But I didn't push it further either. Figured she would get it. Then she starts changing passwords on everything. Phone, laptop, our shared Netflix account, even grocery store app. When I ask about it, she's like, oh, I just want better security. But suddenly won't tell me new passwords to anything. This same woman who used password 123 for everything had me set up all her accounts because she hates dealing with technology. Woman who still needs help connecting to Wi-Fi at hotels. Now she's suddenly cybersecurity expert who needs to lock down access to our Disney Plus account. Lying in bed one night, listening to her typing away on laptop. Realized she's been staying up way later than usual. Used to be, she'd fall asleep watching Netflix by 9:30 p.m. Now she's up until 1 a.m. or later. Always on her phone or computer. Always angled away from me so I can't see screen. When I roll over and try to see what she's doing, she immediately closes laptop or turns phone face down. Just work stuff, she says. But her company doesn't exactly require overtime research into whatever the hell she's researching. Here's where it gets really messed up. She starts talking about my life insurance policy, like it's her new favorite hobby. Babe, You really should increase your coverage. I worry about you going mountain biking alone. Hold up, this catches me completely off guard, because Victoria has literally never given single crap about my weekend bike rides. Not once in 4 years we've been together. Has she expressed any concern about me being on trails by myself? She usually acts annoyed that I'm wasting weekends in dirt instead of going to brunch or shopping with her. Her usual response to my biking plans was, have fun. Try not to get poison ivy again, or bring back some good pictures for Instagram. Now suddenly she's concerned about my safety. Since when do you worry about my mountain biking? I asked. Actually pretty confused about her actions since that trip thing. Well, we're married now. Things are different. I just want us to be protected financially if something happens. Timing felt messed up. Why is she suddenly pushing for $400,000 policy right before disappearing to Vegas for a week? My logical brain kept telling me I was being paranoid, but my gut was screaming that something wasn't right. Running numbers in my head, we've got maybe $65,000 in current policy through my work, which would cover funeral expenses, keep Victoria afloat for a year or two if something happened. But $400,000, that's quit your job. Live comfortably for rest of your life. Money. Every single conversation about insurance happened while she was glued to her phone texting someone. She'd bring up dangerous mountain trails. Whenever she saw my biking gear by door, started mentioning news stories about biking accidents she'd heard about, always with this weird look on her face, like she was studying my reaction to see if I was buying it. Did you hear about that guy who fell off cliff in Utah? So scary you should really stick to easier trails. Then immediately go back to texting. Whoever the hell she was constantly messaging. Started paying attention to when these insurance conversations happened. Always when she was mid-text conversation with someone else, like she was getting coached through talking points. Getting paranoid thoughts like, who the hell is she texting? That would be interested in our life insurance situation. Why does this mysterious person care about my biking safety? She'd be scrolling through her phone, see something, then look up at me with this calculating expression. You know, maybe you should get one of those GPS beacons for biking. You know, in case something happens and I need to find you. Way she paused before find you made my skin crawl. Like she was thinking a different word. Felt completely insane even thinking what I was thinking. Like who suspects their own wife of planning something that dark? That's some psycho thriller movie crap. That happens to other people, not suburban investment consultants, whose biggest life drama is usually deciding between IPA or wheat beer. But every conversation about insurance felt like sales pitch. She downloaded pamphlets, researched different companies, even suggested specific agents we should talk to. This from woman who makes me handle all our financial decisions. Because insurance is boring. Kept thinking about how she used to joke about life insurance being scam. Why would I pay money betting on your death? That's morbid. Now she's practically writing policy proposals. 3 weeks before her Vegas trip, sitting in my home office pretending to work on quarterly reports. While actually having existential crisis, she was still running around finalizing outfits and spa appointments. Clueless that I'd already started connecting dots. Felt like paranoid lunatic for even entertaining these thoughts. But you know what? Better paranoid and breathing than trusting and 6 feet under. So I decided to do some digging. Started with our shared credit card statements, since she'd been spending money like she just inherited fortune. And yeah, these were still hitting our shared card, after I explicitly told her not to. So now I wasn't just suspicious, I was pissed. Most of it looked normal at first. Those designer dresses, spa appointments, usual expensive girl stuff that makes my bank account cry. But I'm good with numbers. It's literally my job. Patterns stick out to me. Spending had timeline that didn't make sense. She books Vegas trip, then immediately starts buying stuff for it. Normal, but then there's second wave of purchases that don't fit girls trip narrative at all. Then I see something that makes my blood freeze solid. She booked couples massage at some fancy resort spa in Vegas for 2 people on her girls-only bachelorette trip, staring at my computer screen like it's written in foreign language. There's no way this is mistake. It's specifically booked for 2 people, male and female, at time when she's supposed to be drinking Cosmos with Jessica and the girls. What the actual hell? Kept scrolling through statements, found more charges I'd somehow missed before. Men's clothing store, 290s. Some jewelry place, 160. Restaurant reservations for 2 people at places that definitely aren't group bachelorette spots. High-end steakhouses and romantic wine bars. Not trashy clubs you'd expect for Jessica's last hurrah. My hands were literally shaking as I screenshot everything. This isn't just cheating. She was building entire relationship with someone while I'm sitting at home like complete idiot, thinking she's just really excited about her friend's wedding. Restaurant reservations really got to me. Recognized some of these places from when I researched Vegas. For potential vacation, we never took. Expensive intimate spots where you need reservations, weeks in advance. Kind of places you take someone you're serious about, not random hookups. She'd been planning this for months. Then I remembered something from last month. That seemed innocent at the time. She left her laptop open on kitchen counter. I glanced at her browser history while grabbing coffee. Back then I thought she was just being supportive of my biking hobby, since all searches were outdoor related. Now those searches looked completely freaking different. Remote biking trails, Utah. Cell phone, dead zones, mountains. Biking accident statistics 2024. Solo biker disappearances. How common are biking accidents? Isolated trails with no witnesses. Survival time, mountain accidents. Search and rescue response times. Jesus Christ, was she literally researching how to make me disappear permanently? My brain immediately starts making connections I don't want to make. She's pushing for bigger life insurance. She's researching isolated biking spots. She's planning secret romantic getaway with another man. And she's Googling accident statistics and survival times, sitting in my office sweating through my shirt, trying to convince myself this is all coincidence. But I work with data for a living. I know what patterns look like. And this pattern is screaming danger. Still, I kept telling myself maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I had been watching too many crime documentaries lately. The YouTube algorithm fed me one twisted husband murder story. And suddenly I'm spiraling. Come on, this is Victoria, my wife. Woman who cries during those ASPCA dog commercials. Same person who made me promise to text her when I got to Trailhead and when I got back to my car. Who insists I carry first aid kit. Because you never know what could happen. She loved me. I gave her everything. Stability, good life. No drama, no secrets. So, how could I seriously believe she was planning something this dark? Then again, why were her search terms? Reading like blueprint for my funeral. Except now those texts seemed less like caring, and more like tracking my exact location and timeline. First aid kit thing really started bothering me. She'd bought it for me 8 months ago. Made big deal about how I needed to be prepared for emergencies. But now I'm wondering, prepared for what kind of emergencies? The kind she was researching online, spent last week's quietly gathering evidence, while acting completely normal around her. Downloaded 4 months of credit card statements, screenshot her browser history before she could clear it, started paying real attention to her phone calls, and how quickly she'd hang up when I walked into room. More I dug, the more screwed up it got. She was smart about it, at least she thought she was. She'd cleared her browser history, but I wasn't checking obvious spots. Pulled up system logs and browser data recovery tools. Kind of stuff most people don't even know exists, unless they've worked IT or dated someone paranoid enough. To install Keystroke Logger. That's when it all came flooding back. Cache fragments, autofill suggestions. Partial URLs stored in browser's internal files. Enough to piece together what she'd been looking at. Insurance payout timelines. Accident investigation procedures. Even how to act devastated at funeral. Actually sat back in my chair for that one. Who Googles that? Unless they're preparing for performance. Other gems from her search history. Do insurance companies investigate all accidental deaths? How long before life insurance pays out? Suspicious versus non-suspicious accident patterns. Acting grief-stricken tips. Widow support groups near me. How to grieve properly in public. Bereavement leave from work policies. What to wear to husband's funeral. She was already planning her widow era and sending me to God while I'm obliviously packing energy bars for weekend bike rides, planning what to wear to my funeral. Like it was another social event she needed right outfit for. Absolute worst was finding young widow success stories and rebuilding life after tragedy. She was researching how other women had moved on after losing their husbands, probably looking for inspiration or cover stories, looking at months of search history that reads like manual for eliminating your spouse and getting away with it. And timeline perfectly matches her sudden interest in my life insurance and biking safety. Then the day finally came. Victoria left for Vegas with her suitcase, sun hat, and see you Tuesday, like everything was normal. Gave her casual nod, watched her Uber pull out of driveway, and locked door behind her like I was sealing off crime scene. And I'll be real, part of me was scared. Not of her exactly, but of how far down rabbit hole this thing might go. I'd been sleeping beside someone who might have been planning my funeral, needed her gone so I could think clearly without the act, without fake kisses and fake love, use, while she's Googling how to stage grief, needed silence to breathe to figure out what the hell I was actually dealing with. So while Victoria's off in Vegas, supposedly celebrating Jessica's last days of freedom, I'm home going full scorched earth on our entire life together. If I'm wrong about this, I'll look like biggest paranoid asshole on planet. If I'm right, I'll still have pulse next month. Decision to protect myself legally felt surreal. Driving to attorney's office, thinking about how this morning I was married to someone I trusted completely, and now I'm treating her like hostile enemy. But evidence doesn't lie, and I'd rather be wrong and embarrassed than right and dead. First stop attorney's office. Transferred every single asset we own into irrevocable trust with my sister Diana as trustee. House, cars, investments, my 401k. Even my comic book collection from when I was a kid. That's somehow worth like $6,000 now. If something happens to me, Victoria gets exactly nothing. Sitting in that lawyer's office explaining why I need to hide assets from my wife felt like most surreal conversation of my life. Attorney, this sharp woman, I'll call her Janet, just listened to everything without judging. Mr. Thompson in 25 years of family law. I've seen wives hide assets, cheat, lie about paternity. But this is unusual. You need to document everything and be prepared for this to get complicated fast. Diana calls me that afternoon, after lawyer contacts her about trust paperwork. What the hell is going on? Why are you putting everything in trust? All of a sudden, she asked, pacing around my kitchen. Bruno, my dog watching me like he knows something's wrong. Can't really explain. Right now, just something's not right with Victoria. Not right, how are you guys getting divorced? Maybe, I don't know yet. Look, I need you to just sign papers and trust me on this one. This is insane you're talking about your wife here. What could possibly be so bad that you're hiding assets from her? Diana kept asking. I wanted to tell her everything, but it sounded so messed up that I knew she'd think I'd lost my mind. Your sister calling you crazy is one thing. Your sister thinking you're having paranoid breakdown, and maybe calling Victoria to stage intervention is another. Diana's always liked Victoria, thought she was good for me, because she settled me down from my bachelor days. If I told her I think Victoria is planning to eliminate me, for insurance money, she'd probably suggest couples therapy and mental health evaluation. Diana, I promise I'll explain everything later. Right now, I just need you to have my back without asking questions. Long pause, I can hear her kids screaming in background. Normal family chaos kind of life I thought Victoria and I were building toward. This better not be about some midlife crisis nonsense. It's not, I swear it's not. She signed papers, but I could tell she thought I was losing it. Can't blame her, really. From outside, it looked like I was having some kind of mental breakdown over nothing. Called locksmith, had every lock in house changed, while she was busy posting Instagram stories of beaches, cocktails, and fake laughs. She had no clue I was turning our home into fortress. Then came security system, full setup. Motion detectors, door sensors, cameras covering every angle. Technician walked me through app, showed me how to monitor everything in real time. Every ping, every movement straight to my phone. Felt less like installing system, and more like laying perimeter defenses. After that, I found most cutthroat divorce attorney in town. Put her on retainer, Janet sharp, brutal, and allergic to bullshit. Kicked off paperwork to dissolve marriage. 3 years down, drained sure, but I'd rather be single and breathing. Then married and memorialized. Janet laid out legal strategy while I sat there, still not quite believing this was my life. We'll file for dissolution based on irreconcilable differences. But we're also going to request emergency asset protection. Based on suspected fraud, insurance angle gives us grounds to freeze everything. And by the way, Victoria's texting behavior during her trip was interesting as hell. On first day, she gave constant updates with pictures of Beach the Hotel, her and girls group shots, where everyone looked appropriately drunk and happy. Jessica and her bride-to-be Sash, whole cliche bachelorette setup. Day 2, radio silence for 14 hours. Then one generic photo of sunset with no people in it. No explanation for communication gap. No group shots, just sunset that could have been taken anywhere. Day 3 onwards, I'm getting one word, responses to my messages, while she's clearly active on social media posting stories. Ghosting and disconnect was obvious. She'd respond to my, how's the trip with good, but simultaneously post detailed stories about drinks and restaurants. Instagram posts were wild too, Went from group shots with Jessica and bridesmaids to solo pics that screamed, "Look how hot and available I am." Cocktails on beach designer outfits. That fake candid laughing pose that says, "I'm living my best life without my boring husband." Started screenshotting everything before it could disappear. Timestamp showed she was posting solo content during times when she claimed to be with group. Either she was lying to me about her activities, or she was lying to Instagram about being alone. At that point, I was running on fumes, barely sleeping, mind spinning every night, second-guessing everything. From the moment we said I do, it was like playing chess against someone who didn't know rules but still managed to cheat. Wasn't even angry anymore, just numb tired. Like I was stuck in some slow-motion car crash and couldn't hit brakes fast enough. Then my buddy Kevin sends me a screenshot that confirms everything. It's from Victoria's close friend's Instagram story. Video of her grinding on some random dude at club, with caption "finally free." Finally free from what exactly? Oh, right, from her boring husband, who she's planning to collect insurance money from. Kevin's message dude isn't Victoria supposed to be. A bachelorette party. This looks pretty coupley to me. Guy she's with is tall, tan, looks like he stepped out of Vegas nightclub catalog. Gold chain designer shirt, whole douche uniform. Definitely not one of Jessica's bridesmaids, LOL. Screenshot everything before it could disappear. Building digital paper trail of her deception. Contrast between what she was telling me and what she was actually doing was damning. That night I couldn't sleep, just kept staring at ceiling, thinking about how close I came to actually increasing that life insurance policy. She'd brought it up at least 8 times, always mentioning how dangerous my biking was getting, and how she'd be financially devastated if something happened to me. Word choice was interesting in hindsight. Not emotionally devastated or heartbroken. Financially devastated, like losing me would be budget problem, not personal tragedy. How many solo bike rides would it have taken before I had accident on some remote trail? How long would she have waited before calling police? Crying about her missing husband who never came home from his weekend ride. Messed up part is, I still felt guilty for not trusting her, even with all evidence sitting right in front of me. Part of my brain kept saying, "You're overreacting. She loves you. This is all just coincidence." Society programs you to trust your spouse unconditionally, to give them every benefit of doubt. When someone you love is acting sketchy, your brain tries to rationalize it away, instead of accepting obvious truth. But coincidences don't Google how long before insurance pays out. On accidental death while booking romantic getaways with other men. Anyways, Tuesday night, Victoria's plane lands at 9:23 p.m. I know because I checked flight status about 60 times that day. Nervous as hell, but also excited to see how this plays out. Part of me is still hoping I'm wrong about everything, that there's some innocent explanation for all evidence I've gathered. Bruno keeps pacing around house like he can sense something big is about to happen. That dog has always been good judge of character. Never warmed up to Victoria the way he does, with people he trusts. My phone starts buzzing at 10:47. "Hey babe, I'm at baggage claim. Where are you?" Sitting in my living room with glass of whiskey and divorce papers spread across coffee table. Irony isn't lost on me. She's expecting ride home from her secret romantic getaway. And instead, she's getting served with dissolution papers. "I'm not coming," I said. Long pause, I can hear airport noise in background. Sound of her world about to get flipped upside down. "What do you mean you're not coming? How am I supposed to get home? You're not coming home? Check your email." Satisfaction of saying those words was incredible. All stress and paranoia of past few weeks, crystallizing into this one moment of truth. Hang up before she can respond. Divorce papers hit her inbox at exactly 10:50 p.m., along with detailed explanation of why our marriage is over. Attached were screenshots of her credit card charges, browser history, and my personal favorite, timeline of her insurance conversations, compared to her Vegas planning. Subject line, "Enjoyed Vegas. Here's your souvenir." Email was methodical, laying out everything, like prosecutor's closing argument, dates, times, evidence, conclusions. Spent hours writing it, making sure every accusation was backed up with documentation. She calls back immediately. I decline. She calls again. Decline. On third try, I pick up just to hear her lose her absolute mind. "What the hell is this? You can't just lock me out of my own house." Her voice is shaking, but I can't tell if it's from anger or panic. Probably both. "It's not your house anymore. Everything's in trust now." "This is illegal. I have rights." "Yeah, so do I, right to not end up as statistic for insurance money," I said. Screaming starts, how dare I accuse her of something so crazy? How I'm being paranoid. How she never did anything wrong. You're insane. I would never hurt you. I love you. Love me. You Googled how to look devastated at funeral while booking couples massages with some other dude. That's not love, sweetheart. That's premeditation. At that moment, I could practically hear her brain, scrambling for explanation that doesn't exist. I can explain everything save it for your lawyer. Hang up again and turn my phone on silent. Let her scream into void. 25 minutes later, my new security system alerts me that someone's at front door. Check camera feed and there's Victoria with her suitcases. And some dude I've never seen before. Vegas boy toy, I'm guessing. She actually brought him back with her to our house. Audacity of this woman. He's exactly what I expected, probably wondering if this is house he was going to help her cash in on. They spend about 15 minutes pounding on door and ringing doorbell. Victoria's yelling through windows about how she lives here, and I can't keep her out. She's trying to peer through curtains, checking if any windows are unlocked. Desperation is obvious even through security camera. Open this door right now. This is my house too. Babe, maybe we should just go to hotel for tonight, he said. No, he can't do this. I have rights. Guy keeps looking around like he's sizing up property value. Probably doing mental calculations about potential insurance payouts. Or maybe just realizing he picked wrong married woman to mess with. Don't answer, sitting in my kitchen. Watching whole show on my phone like it's reality TV episode. Bruno's at window growling at them, which just makes Victoria more hysterical. I know you're in there, you can't hide forever. Actually, it's my house now. And I've got security cameras recording everything for future legal proceedings. They eventually gave up and left. My Ring camera catches them arguing in driveway before driving off in his rental car. She's gesticulating wildly, probably explaining how I went crazy and locked her out for no reason. He looks like he's reconsidering whatever arrangement they had. Honestly, best 180s I ever spent on Locksmith. Over next few weeks, shit gets real interesting, real fast. Janet files for emergency asset protection based on suspected fraud. Insurance company gets wind of situation and launches their own investigation. Turns out they take attempted fraud pretty seriously, especially when there's this much evidence. Insurance investigator contacts me for interview. Lay out everything, browser history, timing, Vegas receipts, all of it. She takes notes like she's seen this playbook before. She explained to me that Victoria's search pattern follows classic insurance fraud preparation model. Research target activity, find vulnerabilities. Establish plausible scenarios. Research investigation procedures. Practice emotional responses. She told me that how to look devastated at funeral search is actually more common than you'd think. Amateur fraudsters always worry about their acting ability during investigation phase. What really gets me is how methodical Victoria was about it. This wasn't some spur-of-moment decision. She'd been planning this for months, maybe longer. Every conversation about my biking, every suggestion about insurance, every concern about my safety was calculated. Investigators showed me similar cases she's worked. Spouses who plan this type of fraud usually follow same pattern. They research intended method, establish plausible scenarios, then work on their emotional cover story. Your wife hit every checkpoint. Meanwhile, Victoria's blowing up everyone's phones, trying to control narrative. She's telling friends and family that I snapped and became paranoid and abusive for no reason. Classic gaslighting. Her mom calls me crying, asking why I'm destroying her daughter's life. Answered calmly, Mrs. Peterson. Your daughter Googled isolated biking trails with no witnesses, while trying to get me to increase my life insurance. Draw your own conclusions. That shut her up real quick. Hard to argue with browser history. Victoria kept swinging, showed up at my office unannounced, demanding to talk. Security walked her right back out. Then she tried calling my boss, rambling about how I was mentally unstable and shouldn't be handling client portfolios, like that was going to work on someone who's known me longer than she has. Then came cherry on top. She filed police report saying I stole her stuff. You know, the stuff I had carefully packed up and sent to her mom's place with full inventory. Tidy, respectful, nothing dramatic. That one made me laugh. Don't know exactly how that conversation went down, but based on fact that no one ever followed up with me, I'm guessing it didn't go away, she hoped. Pretty sure cops know difference between theft and you got locked out after getting caught. Planning your husband's exit strategy. By then, even people who had been in her corner were going quiet once screenshots and search history. started making rounds. Whole poor Victoria narrative didn't hit same. 2 months later, we're sitting in family court for divorce proceedings. Victoria shows up with some public defender-looking guy who clearly doesn't specialize in family law and probably took case for grocery money. I've got Janet who's been salivating over this case since I first told her story. Courtroom feels surreal. 8 months ago, I was planning our future together. Maybe talking about kids, definitely talking about upgrading to bigger house. Now we're sitting on opposite sides of courtroom, while lawyers argue about whether she tried to eliminate me for money. Discovery phase was absolutely brutal for Victoria. My lawyer subpoenaed everything: phone records, browser history, credit card statements, even her search history from her work computer. Turns out she'd been using company time to research my potential demise, which got her fired when HR found out. Her employer's IT department had been monitoring employee internet usage and flagged her searches as concerning personal research conducted on company time. When they saw what she was researching, they immediately terminated her and provided everything to our legal team. Her attorney tried some bullshit story about how she was researching for crime novel she wanted to write. Judge gave him such a look. Counselor, your client also Googled isolation, biking spots, Utah, and cell phone dead zones, while simultaneously trying to convince her husband to increase his life insurance policy, unless her novel required very specific market research. I'm not buying it. Crime novel excuse was laughable. Victoria hasn't read book in years, let alone written one. She gets her entertainment from reality TV and Instagram stories. Then we get to financial evidence: couples massage booking in Vegas, men's clothing purchases, restaurant reservations for 2 at romantic spots. Her attorney tries to claim she was planning to surprise me with romantic trip later, but can't explain why she needed to buy another man clothes for our surprise getaway. Janet stood up and dropped timeline. Charges, dates, search history, everything lined up in brutal order, from first mention of life insurance to booking couples massages and Googling how to fake grief. It was all right there. No drama, no speculation. Just evidence. Room went quiet. Pattern was obvious. It didn't need explanation. Judge barely looked up before making it official. Divorce granted, everything stays locked in trust. Victoria walks out with nothing. No assets, no alimony, no shot at second chance. Just blank expression and folder full of evidence. She couldn't spin. Before walking out, she turned to me and hissed something under her breath. Mix of threats, insults, and denial. Didn't flinch, let her say whatever made her feel powerful. On way down, court didn't buy her story, and neither did I. 3 years of marriage unraveled in handful of minutes, and somehow I didn't feel rage or victory. I felt drained, like I just pulled myself out a burning car, and was standing on side of road watching it explode behind me. But at least I am single and free and alive. That's more than she planned for me anyway. I'll post update if anything new happens with Victoria, assuming I'm still alive to write it. Final update. Hey folks, figured I'd give you update on how things unraveled after that mess. So 4 months after that brutal divorce, Victoria showed up at my job, hair, messy eyes, bloodshot, practically dragging herself through lobby like she hadn't slept in weeks. Told front desk she needed to see me urgently. Security called up. I met her downstairs, just curious about what she wants. She stood there, voice trembling, and said she was pregnant, that it was mine. Was 2 seconds away from laughing in her face. But I kept it together, just pulled out business card and handed it over. Congrats, let me know what paternity test says. Brandon, that's Vegas guy, right? Might want to start saving. 2 weeks later, results came back. Obviously not mine, big surprise. Brandon left her with more than just cheap Vegas fling and criminal record. Now she's working overnight security at some warehouse, barely scraping by in shoebox apartment. With baby on way and no legal defense. Worth paper. It's printed on. She's broke, blacklisted, and can't get insurance coverage. To save her life, literally. Meanwhile, her appeals keep getting laughed out of court. Her reputation gone, her support system disappeared. All those basic brunch girls who hyped her up, nowhere to be found. Me paid off House Bruno at my side. Got promoted, still single. Absolutely not ready to mingle. People still ask if I think Victoria would have actually gone through with it. She didn't just plan my funeral, she rehearsed it. I dodged bullet, literally. And all it cost me was 3 years. And ring on wrong finger. Stay alert out there, guys. Sometimes person sleeping next to you is Googling accidental demise payouts at 3 a.m.